That's terrific. So, uh, did you go Washington back to Arkansas?
I did. Got a bunch more travel coming up the next few months, so try to make it a fairly quick trip.
Uh-huh. Well, okay. Let's see if we get some people interested. And the website is just on it here. That's where
Yeah,
you want people to go to the website. I think that's a
that's it.
better place.
Acretrader.com.
Yeah, acretrader.com. Cool. Okay. Yeah, we'll try to do 15 minutes or something like that, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, it sounds great. And tell me the purpose of the format or approach.
It doesn't matter. We'll just see what happens.
Sure.
It's just to educate people about what the hell you're doing. I think, um, what you're doing is, cool stuff. And it's where we have to be putting more resources, it seems. And I think more young people are getting into this kind of stuff. I mean, you're from a little different because you're looking maybe for fat cats and investing and things like that. But that's a byproduct almost, at least in my mind, or a way to make it happen, because it won't happen without money, right?
At the end of the day, it does require capital to make the wheels turn.
Yeah. Carter, what's the last name, Carter?
Malloy, Malloy.
Malloy. Okay. And you
Yeah,
grew up
so
in Arkansas, right?
you got it. And so you want to, yeah, I grew up in Arkansas, spent the last 5 years in San Francisco, and then
Yeah.
moved back to start a tech company in Arkansas.
Well, Carter Malloy, man, I think you're the coolest guy in the entrepreneur, venture capital industry now, because you're going where other people don't dare to go or don't see this opportunity yet. And it seems like the biggest opportunity this country has is taking, farmland and making investment propositions out of this, that anybody can be a farmer and make money out of this land stuff, because that's the most, that's one thing, that is, a limited resource. I mean, we're working on the housing stuff in the cities, but man, getting food is more important than if we don't have food. It doesn't matter where the hell we live.
It's a basic human need. We do need it.
Right. And we're going back to that too. I mean, it seems that we're not going to transport our food from Brazil anymore when we could get it in our backyard. Yeah.
Yeah, we have some of the best dirt in the entire world right here in our own country. So,
but it really is, you've developed a platform. It's sort of like a crowdfunding platform for people to invest in farmland, for people to find farmland and make money out of it without it buying the farmland. Is that correct?
that's correct. Very,
And,
very.
and you could do it without having to have $500,000 to do it, right? So what's the smallest amount to get involved in your
Yeah,
project?
it usually ranges from a couple $1,000s, $5,000, something like that. So,
Yeah.
while it is a material amount of capital, it's certainly dramatically less exactly than the $500,000 or $1,000,000 you would need otherwise to
Yeah.
get into farming.
It's cool stuff, though. I mean, you invest in some big apartment building in Miami or something. Who the hell cares? Right?
Well, what's exciting about farmland, as boring as dirt may seem, what's exciting about it is we do need the food on it, and so we've got to grow food every year.
Absolutely. So, are all your projects now actually used to produce food now?
They are, and you brought up commercial real estate. We're not out fixing toilets and
Right.
seeing the buildings tumble around us and depreciate.
So in other words, as an investor, so I want to put $5,000 in. Hey, yeah, I want to invest in a farm. So I go to your website and I choose, hey, that looks nice, and I give you $5,000. Then somebody else comes around. Hey, I want to grow soybeans on that sucker, or cows, or weed, or whatever the hell it is, right?
You got it. So yeah, it's a highly common relationship in farmland. About 40% of U.S. farmland is rented out to a tenant farmer. So it's a very, very common relationship that you have. It's a landlord-tenant relationship,
Wow.
differing than
That called serfdom or not?
Goodness, no. We're here to support the farmers. So they're all business people and they're growing crops, and you got it anywhere from soybeans and corn in the Midwest and cotton and rice to things like almonds and olives and fruit
Wow.
on the East Coast.
So and is there government land that does that too, that you could farm land, or what?
Yeah, so while the government does have some land that people will graze cattle on, and
Right.
even some project farms out there, the larger government involvement is support of the farmers.
I
So
see.
the government decided, rightfully so, a long time ago, that food security is a
Yeah.
priority for us.
Right.
Going on
Exactly.
food is something we want to do, and we want to continue doing. So they've set in places programs to help support the farmer, whether that's helping to subsidize their
Right.
insurance, disaster payments, and things like that. They're it's in all of our best interest to make sure that farmers remain solvent and that they continue to
Well,
grow.
there's also, it seems to be a push now for young people to get into farming because all the old farts who have all these farms are dying off and we need young people to come in, right?
We do. The average farmer is 59 years old, so we
Wow.
really need new
Yeah.
farmers.
No, I see a lot of government programs now just for young people to get into it, people getting on the service to get into it. So I guess this is a way, if I have a couple $1,000 that or I guess I could find one of your projects to use as farm. So there's two ways to use you. One is that's an investment. So I don't have to worry about it. And you have great data that show, you can make twice as much money in farmland than you can in the stock market. And so there's that way, place to put your money that seems, more real too, to me than, the stock market or even commercial real estate. But also as you want to grow something, there's a place to come to your place and say, hey, this parcel that you have available, right, that I could rent from you to grow stuff, whatever I
That,
want to grow. Yeah.
that's right. We work with farmers all the time. More often than not, we like to work with established farmers, but again, there are a lot of them out there, and there are a lot of young farmers. I don't mean to say there are none. There's
Right.
just not.
Yeah.
But we love working with young farmers that come to us and say, "Hey, I'm working this land, and there's a neighboring parcel that may be up for sale.
Ah, I see.
If your investor group is interested in purchasing it, then I will rent it for a favorable rate.
Oh,
Because for a farmer, you get economies of scale if you
yeah.
operation."
Ah, I see. That's interesting. So, like my son is looking for 50 acres to grow stuff and things like that. So, if there was a big plot of land that he didn't, have the capital to buy and stuff like that, he'd come to your platform, and you could put it up like for sale, and because he's going to rent it right away, right?
Potentially so, after a pretty rigorous vetting process, especially for anybody from your family.
I don't blame you at all, man. And especially me, man. I remember I went when I first got in business. I went out to some guy's house out in the country, and he said, "Go out and pick potatoes." And I went out, for dinner because he was growing potatoes. And I'm looking for the potato trees, man. I couldn't find it. I'm a city guy. And then I was working on a program at Department of Agriculture, helping some guy invest in cattle or whatever. And it was like cows. And you want to know how much cattle there was. I thought cattle and cows were the same thing, And I said, no, all the cows, the male cows, the female cows. A little bit of knowledge is dangerous. And I guess that's why the platform that you have, I mean, you've been in not only the financial business for the last 5 years in San Francisco, where all the other sharks are, but your roots are, so to speak, in land business in Arkansas, the family, right?
That's right. I'm ultimately a dyed-in-the-wool redneck, though I spent a dozen years of my career in the equities markets and in Excel. I myself, and more importantly, we've got we've got a team here that are focused specifically on agriculture and doing the diligence and going out. And we've got a guy right now today, a few hours away, literally kicking dirt and collecting samples on a farm we own.
Ah, now,
So
why would you be collecting samples?
yeah, we ultimately want to check out the soil health on each farm we're looking at.
I
Right?
see.
There's some very basic stuff you can do to go take a look at soil quality and neighboring soil quality. We've got great soil maps and software and things like that we use as well.
So in other words, before you put a plot on your website, you're out there doing, the vetting all this stuff.
There are lots of very real human hours involved in every deal we work on.
Oh shit, you have to work to make money, huh?
Way too
You just
hard.
don't put up a website and people throw money at you. I thought that's what happened.
That would be cool.
That's what they think in San Francisco, anyway, don't they?
Yeah, that's maybe the case in places. Great work.
Real work. Well, I mean, to me, if you that's the fun part is doing hard work. If you like it, if you hate it, then it's going to the dentist. But if it's stuff you like to do,
We love it around here. So
yeah. And you just started like 6 months ago or something. When did you start?
yeah, so the platform officially launched early this year. We've been working on it with financial technologists, lawyers, accountants, et cetera, for a few years, and got funding and all that fun stuff. And so venture capital, et cetera. But
Uh-huh.
just officially launched the platform after a long and arduous testing and retesting.
Wow.
Finally got it live. Just to, we're dealing with people's money. I think that's something that
Right.
very, very cautious and cognizant of. It's a very emotional thing when you make an investment. So our job, day one job is don't screw up when you're dealing with people's money.
Right. No, you're messing with somebody's money, man. That's, I think the most important thing you got to think of first is don't mess with somebody else's money. So in other words, so you raised venture capital for this. You've been in development for a couple of years and just went live, earlier part of this year. Uh, and who is I mean, what's harder, the investors or the farmers, or the farmers are easier, or what's the
Yeah,
bottleneck for you right now?
that's a great question, right? I think you've hit the nail on the head. We're a two-sided marketplace.
Yeah.
We've got investors on one side of the business and farm owners on the other, or farm sellers on the other. I think early in our evolution, I would have told you, and the thesis was that finding good quality farms with a good financial return profile would be the high challenge.
Hmm.
I think, and if you look at early two-sided marketplaces with Uber, it was finding
Right.
drivers, right? For
Right.
Airbnb,
Right.
who's going to rent their apartment out to a stranger, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we fully anticipated that would be the challenge for us. And as a result, made early hires to focus on that, to focus on our relationships with farmers, with farm brokers, farm managers, farm private equity funds.
Mhm.
I think we've been incredibly surprised in our just early evolution of the business with how much supply of farmlands we're seeing.
Wow.
How many farm owners and farmers come on the site every day and say,
Wow.
"Hey, I'd like to work with you. Here's this asset I have, and here are some ideas I have to work together."
Wow. I mean that they were offering land for sale, or what do you mean? The farmer
Correct.
side. Yeah.
Either offering land for sale, what they want to do is sale lease back, they want to sell
I
partial
see.
ownership, they want to acquire
Ah,
neighboring farms and need help. So there's a lot of scenarios we work with, but I think for our investors, what we focus on is water, soil, and financial profile. And those
and
three,
do you have to be a, what do you call it, a registered investor, or a fat cat investor?
you have to be an accredited investor today on the platform. We do intend to change that in the future, or rather, we hope to have offerings for non-accredited investors as
I
well.
see.
But we encourage everyone to come on, go ahead and sign up, learn about farmland. It's a fascinating asset class with really great historical returns. So go ahead and come on and spend some time getting to know us and see that we're real people. We're doing some really
Right.
great.
I mean, so if you're not a fat cat yet, it to me is, your platforming to me is going to grow. So it's a place to look, to watch what is going on here, because this is going to be a growth. It's sort of like, looking at Uber 5, 10 years ago, or 7 years. I don't know when they started, but 5, 7 years, looking at that, because you're sort of like an Uber for farmland, that to be careful. So if you're not making those big dollars to invest now, you will soon, or more importantly, you're going to have an option for a lower income level. Is that correct?
That is certainly our hope and anticipation.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's within maybe a year or so, kind of thing, or
Yeah, I think in 2020, hopefully in early
yeah,
2020, we want to bring
yeah.
this product to
Well,
market.
I think that's so if you start educating yourself now about this opportunity, then you're able to be there when it opens up, and you don't have to start at ground zero. And I
Sure.
think anything like this is important to know about, because this is where we're going. I mean, it's important. I think that, on these waves that are coming in as opportunities, you want to get in on the beginning and start learning, not when it hits the beach and starts coming out and the wave's over.
Well said.
You want to be a surfer and get on that wave as it's growing, not all the manufacturing. That's a wave that's coming out, man. Yeah, so
Well, the good news is with farmland is I think it's been a wave that's persisted for hundreds of years and will continue.
exactly. Yeah, but so you're creating a new thing out of it. Yeah.
That's fair. We are.
So this is the wave. So I mean, just like an iPhone, we'd had phones and cameras for 100 years. Somebody put them together, and that's a wave. That's what you're doing with farmland. Shit, we got people with money and farm forever. You know, I don't want to be a farmer, but shit, that looks like a good investment. So
there you go.
you're putting those two things together, and all of a sudden you have a new iPhone for farmers. Well, that's wonderful, Carter. So to find out, see this is Acre, ACRE, Trader, TRADER.com. Go there, figure it out. You got good data to, that shows it compares this with any other kind of investment, whether it's gold or stock market or real estate, commercial. And you see how farmland, man, it's been kicking butt over the ages now, right?
It has. And I think the last point there on the wave and why we're so excited about it is supply and demand, right? Really basic economics. We have more mouths to feed every day. And we have fewer amounts of farmland every day. We lose 3 acres per minute in the United States.
We lose 3 acres per minute?
Per minute.
To like development real estate that's not farm anymore?
That's correct. For the most part, development and real estate and getting larger. So when you have less of the farm to grow the food,
price has got to go up, but there's less of it, and we need it, man. We all need food, even the skinny people.
Right.
Oh, wonderful. AcreTrader.com. Thank you, Carter. Fun to talk with you. Good.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye.